How we doing? I am your host, Robert T. Gardner Jr., also known as Dr. Rob. Welcome to Station BOB, and let me tell you a little about thee. I am a kid from a Harlem hood who turned out good. I got educated like I should. Now I know how to help you grow to become the best of your being in life, love, and work. With that said, I am here to provide you with some clarity associated with the perplexity of the challenges in your life, love, and work. So, without further ado, let's get down on it. Enjoy the show. Yes, how we doing once again, my friend? Welcome to Station BOB, where you listen to learn how to become the best of your being in life, love, and work. I am your host, Dr. Rob, and as always, I am excited and happy to be with you today. And once again, I bring you another exciting podcast. This podcast, though, is just a little different because today the topic is kids are people too. What do I mean by that? Well, I have 3 children, and one is away in college, and one is 9, and one is 11. And they often wonder, Daddy, what do you do? So they see me podcasting, and they've been asking to participate in the podcast. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we're going to do our best to deliver you a wonderful podcast, and we're going to hear from the kids what their thoughts are about life, themselves, school, their parents, each other, because kids are people too. So without further ado, I'll start with Isaiah. First, Isaiah, say hello.
Hello.
Okay, you see his energy. And next we have Sojourner. Say hello, Sojourner.
Hello.
Okay, they are really turning into little comedians here. So, to keep the show moving, so Isaiah, your name is Isaiah Thurgood Marshall Gardner. Now, that's a powerful name. And Sojourner, your name is Sojourner Truth Sonia Gardner. And we're gonna talk about our names in a minute, because first I want to say that my name is Robert T. Gardner Jr., and when I was a little boy, I didn't really like my name. I thought my name was kind of a nerdy, kind of square name. Everybody else I knew had names like Craig, Eric, Derek, like cool names. But I love my name now. So, Isaiah, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think about your name, Isaiah Thurgood Marshall Gardner? What do you think about that name?
It's cool.
So when you say it's cool, move closer to the mic, Isaiah. When you say it's cool, what does that mean?
I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty powerful.
It's pretty powerful?
Yeah.
So, do you know who Thurgood Marshall was?
Yep, he was a lawyer.
And what else was he?
He was a graduate of Board of Education.
No, you mean he presented a case, Brown versus Board of Education.
Yes.
Okay. We gotta brush up on Isaiah's history regarding Thurgood Marshall. But do you like your name? Don't like your name? What do you think about your name?
I love my name.
You love your name?
Yeah, it's powerful.
It's powerful?
Yeah.
Do you feel powerful with a name like that?
Yep, I do.
All right, good enough. So let's turn to Sojourner Truth. Sojourner?
Yep.
You know anything about Sojourner Truth?
Yeah.
What do you know about Sojourner Truth?
That she was a slave.
Okay, what else do you know?
Yeah.
That she was separated with her family.
Okay, well, this is not really a history lesson, and trust me, they know more about both Thurgood Marshall and Sojourner Truth. I don't know why they are struggling with this, but, this is what kids do. I remember my oldest daughter, I used to take pictures of her, and we'd be outside taking pictures. Isaiah, please stop with the extra sound effects. Thank you. I tell you, this is going to be somewhat of a challenge, but we are going to get through. So as I was saying, my oldest daughter, when she was 5, 6, 7, 8, and I tried to take pictures, I say, hey, look at the camera. She look at the birds. I asked her to look at the birds. She look at the cars. So that's what's happening here. We're going to have some extracurricular things going on here. So Sojourner, do you like your name? How do you feel about your name?
I mean, I like it, but other people, it's hard for other people to pronounce it right.
Yeah, and so how does that make you feel when they mispronounce your name?
How does it make me feel?
Yeah, does that annoy you? Does it bother you?
Oh, very much so.
Okay, you wanna turn your face towards the microphone, please, and there you go. You have to kiss the mic as we talked about. Okay, all right. So Isaiah.
Yeah.
You are the middle child. You are one boy with 2 sisters.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
It's cool.
It's cool. What makes it cool?
Just being me. Yeah.
Just being you?
Yep.
So what do you think about your older sister? She's away at college. What are your thoughts about Taylor Gardner?
She's cool.
She's cool?
Yeah, she's cool.
So you do realize that there are other people that are going to be listening to this podcast, and they may want to hear just maybe 3 or 4.
And she's better than Sojourner.
Oh, she's better than Sojourner?
Yep.
What makes her better than Sojourner?
She's just cooler than Sojourner.
Okay, so Sojourner, you hear that? You are the youngest. How does it feel to be the youngest child of the 3?
I like being the youngest. I'm small, and when you're the youngest, you don't get in trouble.
You don't get in trouble? Why don't you get in trouble?
Because most of the trouble goes on Isaiah and Taylor.
Okay, yeah, because they are closer to that age where they are,
Teenagers.
Yes, and Taylor, as we have all seen, we had some trials and tribulations with Taylor as she was coming up through the teen years, but right now she's in her 20s and she's a senior in college. But we have noticed that Isaiah is flirting with some pushback. He's beginning to push back because he's in his first year of middle school, and I think some of that middle school stuff is definitely rubbing off on him. So Isaiah, how do you feel about middle school? What's going on? What's happening in middle school?
It's good. It's just the classical stuff. Yeah.
What is the classical stuff?
It's just people being people. I mean, it's chaotic and stuff, and it's awesome.
Okay, so what do you think about bullying? Has anybody approached you in an aggressive way? Have you had any encounters with, because you don't know everybody. There's a whole bunch of new students outside of your former elementary school. So what's happening? Have you had any encounters with somebody trying to push up on you in a negative way?
Nope.
Okay, why do you think you haven't had those experiences as of yet? Because they may be coming now. I'm not wishing that on you, and I do believe that you will handle it. But what's going on? Is it a good environment, positive? What's happening?
Good environment. I mean, some people can be really, really chaotic, but really good environment.
Okay, so Sojourner, you are in the middle of your school journey in the 3rd grade. What do you like most about the 3rd grade?
I made new friends. And what I like about it?
Yes, what do you like about the 3rd grade?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I like to read the books though.
Oh, you like to read the books? Okay. Well, let me ask you.
Writing.
Oh, you like reading and writing? Do you like school overall?
Not anymore because Isaiah's not there anymore.
Oh, Isaiah's not, but he's here in the house. Why do you miss it? And you guys, all you do is fight. So
no, because in elementary school, we used to see each other in the hallway.
Oh, you did. Did you guys say hello to one another in the hallway?
No.
Kind of.
Okay, but it was just the idea that he was there.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your parents. You live with your mother and father. What do you think about? Listen, what do you think about your father? That would be me. What do you think about your father?
Amazing.
Amazing.
He's cool, and like he's really smart.
Okay. So you only say these things because they're true. Is that correct?
Yep, and he's really fun to make fun of.
I'm fun to make fun of. Okay. So, what about your wonderful mother? What do you think about Mom? What do you think about your mother?
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful. She's loving, and she will take care of us when we are under the weather, or like she will care about us.
She cares about you?
Yes.
And you think she's beautiful and loving?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I would definitely have to agree. So do you guys like being children, or do you want to grow up one day and get your own place and
Grow up one day and get my own place.
and be done with your parents who
No.
have to get on you about pick up your shoes, put your shoes away, could you fold the blanket, could you stop, could you take out the garbage, could you stop fighting, can you please just stop, go to sleep, eat your vegetables? Are you tired of that?
No, not really.
Yes.
I got used to it.
You got used to it? So Isaiah, you want to grow up and move out of the house?
Yep. I want to live in my own place.
Your own place?
Yep.
Okay, well, I find that interesting because, see, I grew up in Harlem, and when I grew up, there was a lot of violence in the neighborhood. I was bullied.
Don't worry, I'm moving right next door.
Oh, you're going to move right next door?
Yep.
Okay, well, let me just finish. So, with between the violence and just the kind of turbulence that was going on in my neighborhood, I wanted to get out of the neighborhood. Now, I had a good home life, growing up with Uncle Joey and Aunt Sally, because as you know, my mother, your grandmother, passed away, but I still had a wonderful childhood, and I grew up in the projects, but I had a dream to get out and get, I wanted to live the way that we are living now. And so you are growing up in New Jersey, you live in a house and everything, and so you want to get your own place? Are you tired of do you like being a kid?
Yeah, I kind of like being a kid. It's kind of fun being a kid.
But you said you wanted to grow up and,
Yeah, but I like to discover the future more.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. What about you, Sojourner? Do you like being a kid, or do you look forward to growing up one day?
I like being a kid right now, but when I come of age, I want to move out and have children, and then they will have children, and then they will have children.
Oh, so you want to keep the family going. Yes. So let me ask you this: could you please stop playing with your little squeegee there, because it's making noise in the microphone there? Thank you very much. And so let me ask you this. When you get married, because your last name is Gardner, that would be considered your maiden name, are you going to take the name of your husband?
Yes. Yeah. No.
So what name are you going to? You're going to be?
No, I'm going to pass on Gardner.
Oh, you mean you're going to pass? What do you mean you're going to pass on Gardner?
No, because when I get married, it's going to be my last name.
Gardner's going to be your last name?
Yes.
Okay, now what about if your future husband, wants you to take on his last name? He wants, his last name is Smithsonian. Are you going to be Sojourner Smithsonian, or are you going to be Sojourner Gardner hyphenated Smithsonian? What are you going to do?
First of all, Smith, whatever that was.
Smithsonian.
Smithsonian. It sounds weird, and
well, I'm just trying to think of a name, because everybody has a last name, and when you get married, usually the husband likes the wife to take on his last name, but so Sojourner Smithsonian, or Sojourner Johnson, or Jackson, or Rosenbaum.
Anything. No, then I want it to be my last name, and if they say no, then I'm going to find a new one.
You going to find a new husband?
Yes.
Now, that's my kind of girl there. What about you, Isaiah? What if your wife does not want to take the name of Gardner? What if she wants to keep her name, Cynthia Johnson, or Cynthia Bermuda Smithsonian. What if your future wife does not want to take your name, Gardner? What do you think about that?
I'm keeping Gardner.
No, I said, what if your future wife, does not want to take the name Gardner?
Oh, then screw her.
Screw Isaiah. There are nice ladies and gentlemen listening to this. You don't want to say screw her because she doesn't want to take your last name. Let me. I gotta tell you a story. You guys know that I've been married twice. I was married to Taylor's mother, and I am married now to your mother. And in both cases,
you married her?
Yes. Isn't that crazy that I would marry her? But that's another story, another podcast. So, but what I wanted to say is, she told me, that would be Taylor's mother, that she, was not going to take my last name. She wanted to keep her name. And so I was cool with that because, I'm like, hey, well, we're married. So, I love my name. You love your name. Keep your last name. And the crazy thing about it is, when I divorced her, she would not get rid of the name Gardner. She would not get rid of that name. And so when I married your mother, she too told me, she said, I want to keep my last name. She wanted to keep her last name. So here I married two women that told me that they wanted to keep their own last name. And I was cool with that. But now I have found, since I didn't pay that any attention, now your mother, she's a Gardner now. She uses the last name Gardner. So what I wanted to say, we don't really have to stress over that name thing. Some people make a big deal out of it. For me, it wasn't a big deal. That's why I didn't fight about it. And then, of course, not fighting about it, now I can't stop either one of my wives from using the name Gardner. Mm-hmm. Okay, so have you guys thought about what you want to be when you grow up?
Yes.
Okay, so one at a time. So, Sojourner, since you said yes first, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A mother and a teacher.
A mother and a teacher?
Both.
Oh, you want to be both? Okay. Well, that's wonderful. What subjects would you like to teach?
Elementary school.
Okay. I
know that's not a subject. But
okay. But that's kind of general. That means you're going to be teaching everything.
Yeah.
Mr. Isaiah, what would you like to teach when you grow up? I'm sorry, not what would you like to teach, but what would you like to be?
A cartoonist.
A cartoonist?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You work on animation. Like I'm in the animation myself. So, do you have any characters that you've created that, like when I was growing up, there was Mr. Magoo, there was Fred Flintstone, there was Yogi Bear, Top Cat. I mean, we had some great cartoons when I was growing up. Top Cat. Who else? I said Yogi the Bear. We had Tom and Jerry. The both of you know who Bugs Bunny is. So you guys
Tom
have
and Jerry.
Bugs Bunny. So do you have any characters in mind that you would create that could live on forever? Because Bugs Bunny is old as dirt. He has been around forever. The Roadrunner. Do you guys know the Roadrunner?
No.
Did you see that? See, those were the animations, the cartoons of my time. So, Mr. Isaiah, what type of characters do you foresee creating that could last forever?
I don't know. I just create random characters.
You just create random characters?
Yep.
Okay.
That's my job.
That's your job? Okay, so maybe one day you will share your portfolio. Let me ask you, I'm going to start with you, Sojourner. Do you have any questions for your dad?
I have a lot of questions.
Okay, so shoot.
Who is your favorite child?
Who is my favorite child? That is a great question. Well, I think my favorite child is the one that I'm talking to at the time that I'm talking to that particular child. I love all my children. And I have to tell you, though, See, when I was born way back in the Abraham Lincoln days. I was born in 1957, right? And so men in those days, they wanted to have sons. They wanted to have boys. Now, when I came of age to have children, I always wanted a daughter. You know why I wanted a daughter first?
No.
Isaiah, would you like to know why I always wanted a daughter first?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you. See, when I started dating, you know, I used to get dumped a lot by the girls. You know, I was dating and I was always treating them nice. And all of my friends used to say, yo, Bob, you too nice to the honeys, man. You got to dog the honeys. That's what they want. And so if you stop being so nice, they stop dropping you. And so I figured it out. And it's not my style to dog the honeys or the ladies for your sake. I don't dog the ladies, but there is sometimes a game to relationships. So I kind of figured it out. And so I always wanted a girl so that I could love her unconditionally and she would love me back and I wouldn't have to play any games. So I always wanted my first child to be a girl. So, yes. So Isaiah, what do you think?
That's nice.
No, not about that's nice. Actually, I done forgot what the subject was. What was the subject, Sojourner?
What's your favorite child?
Oh, what's my favorite child? Okay, so it's the child that I'm talking to at the moment. And so I love all of my children. And I'm so happy to have a boy, a boy named Isaiah. Your grandfather, he wanted me to, I'm a junior. That means I'm named after my father. And he wanted me to name my son after me, which would be, you would be Robert T. Gardner Jr. the third. But I didn't want that for my son. And I didn't want that at the time that I did not like my name. But I think one day I was still living in the projects and I was watching a basketball game. And a basketball player was introduced on television and his name was Isaiah Thomas. And when I heard that name, Isaiah, I fell in love with that name, Isaiah. And I said, if I ever have a son, I am going to name him Isaiah. And then it turns out I have Isaiah, and not only does your mother and I, we decide to name you Isaiah, because she agreed with it, but we named you Isaiah Thurgood Marshall Gardner because we hope, we don't want to put any pressure on you with a name like that, but we just want you to understand the significance of the history that goes along with that name, and hopefully you will do some work that will make the world a better place. Okay?
Okay.
So that's my story that's my answer. What's your next question?
Why do you go to Walmart so much?
Why do I go to Walmart so much? That's a good question. That one deserves some laughter. All right, so why do I go to Walmart so much? Because I have 3 children who always need some milk and bread and juice and snacks for school, and it seems like as soon as I buy the groceries and bring them in the house, the next day they are gone. In addition, when I'm home, I like to have all the things I enjoy, all my little snacks, because once I'm in the house, I don't want to go out again. When I used to live in the Bronx and I had my own place, Friday night I would go food shopping and get all my goodies because I had to study. I was in graduate school at the time. So I would make sure I had everything in the house so that I could be comfortable. So now I like to make sure that I have everything in the house so that you can be comfortable. I'm going to give you one more question, then we're going to go to Isaiah and see what kind of questions he has. What's your next question?
Why do you have so much fancy clothes?
Why do I have so much?
That's not my question. Why do you have 3 TVs down here?
3 TVs? That's a great question. That is a great question. I have 3 TVs in the same room because when I was growing up, I found that when there's a man in the house, there was one TV, and usually it was in the living room. Now, we weren't poor, but we were close to it. So we had televisions in our room, one black and white television. But at any rate, the reason why I have 3 TVs in one room is because, as I was saying, when I was growing up, if there was a man in the house like your father, your stepfather, then you had to watch the kid, the mother, the children. They had to watch what the man wanted to watch. And as a child, I didn't always want to watch what my father wanted to watch. So I just felt like, I want my kids included. I want them to be in the space with me. So if I'm watching CNN or a football game, then there's a TV available for you to play a video game and a television available for Isaiah to watch, his cartoons or whatever he enjoys. So that's why there's 3 televisions in the room. So Isaiah, I'm kicking it to you, my brother. I know you have more. All right, one more question. One more. For Sojourner.
But why do you get the big one?
Why do I get the big one? That's easy, because I'm Big Daddy Rob. Okay, and I bought the televisions. Which one do you think I'm going to take? The 40 inches versus the 75? Not. And you guys have already hijacked my television. I don't get to watch it as much as I thought. I have to kick you guys off the television. So, if it's okay with you, Sojourner, let me go to my man, Isaiah, TMG. You have any questions?
Yep.
Well, all right. What kind of questions you have?
What inspired you to make your books?
What inspired me to write my books? What a good question. Well, my books were inspired actually because of the bad experiences I had with Taylor's mother, and that was not a good relationship, and I spent a lot of time in family court and fighting for the right to spend time with Taylor because her mother, would not allow me to see her the way on a regular basis, because we broke up and she was forever mad at me. So I had to fight to get to see Taylor. But through that experience, I was inspired to write my books because I wanted to help people understand how to not make the same mistakes I made when it came to relationship choices. Great question, Isaiah. You have another question?
Yep.
What's the next question?
What do you use to write your books?
Well, I used, I'm old fashioned, so I would start writing with a pen and a pad, as I was going up and down from New Jersey to New York, commuting and traveling to work. And then, I like to write out my thoughts, and then I typed them, on the computer. I used, the regular Word software, and I use my computer to get it all together. You have another question?
No, I got enough.
You got enough?
Yeah.
So let me kick it back to Sojo over here. Do you have any other questions?
My last one.
Your last one. What's your last one?
Would you rather play Roblox or Minecraft?
Would I rather play Roblox or Minecraft? I would rather play Madden 22 or the NBA 2K. That's what I would rather play. Or what about beach buggy racing? That's one of my favorite games. So let me ask you guys something. Isaiah, before I let you sign off, would you like to say anything to the people listening to this podcast about your thoughts about family life, what you think it takes to be a good kid or a good parent? What do you think about, in your mind, what does it take to be a good parent?
Just don't overly abuse your child.
Don't overly abuse.
And take care of the children that you birthed. Take
care of the children that you birth.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty good. I see you thinking you're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Are there any other thoughts you have for parents to help us understand how we can do our job as parents better?
Nah, you guys are already good already.
Well, thank you so much for them kind words. Sojourner, what would you say to parents to help us understand how to do our job as parents better?
And get the children what they ask for.
Oh, you mean like spoil them until they turn like brats, like the way you guys already? You mean
don't say no all the time.
Well, who says no all the time?
Y'all.
That's totally not true.
Yes, I did.
That is totally
It's not
if the people listening to this podcast could see all of the clutter and junk in terms of toys and things that we have accumulated for our children, they would find that what you are saying is totally not true. What your mother and I is finding out that it's a better idea to say no sometimes so that we can strike a balance, because what we're finding is we've said yes so much that when we finally say no, you guys lose your mind.
No, but like
so what did you say?
I'm all right with this sometime.
Okay, well, let's quickly talk about the iPads. You guys had your iPads pretty much unlimited in an unlimited fashion. Now you guys walk around like crackheads with these iPads. Dad, you got a charger, Dad? Dad, I need a charger. Dad, you rush through. We have found that you rush through your homework to get back to your iPad.
No, we don't.
You rush through getting ready for taekwondo and getting ready for dance class. You rush through everything because you want to get back to your iPad. You want to get back to the game. So your mother and I have decided, because of your obsession with these electronic devices, and we can see the adverse impact it's having on your focus and your concentration, we've taken the steps to decrease and limit your access to your iPads we have gone from every day after school up until bed, now until Friday night iPad time until Sunday, 7:00 p.m. Trust me, parents, on that. I know you guys are doing what you do, but we have found that we have lost total control and our kids have lost total focus as it relates to their obsession with their iPad. So we had to cut back on that. And you know what we found when we cut back? That they can actually speak and read and write and do math, and they enjoy that too. So we had to take our kids back. We had to take our kids back, and they are no longer in iPad rehab. They have completed detox, and they are no longer in iPad rehab.
I mean, at least we get to wait 2 days this time.
Yep.
Oh?
No, actually 3 days.
No, 2 days.
Get it right.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
No, it's not. Wait, yes, it is.
Because tomorrow's Wednesday, and then after Wednesday it's Thursday, and after Thursday it's Friday.
That's right. So it's almost iPad time in about a little over 72 hours. Isaiah, would you please don't do that to the microphone, my brother. I can tell it's time. You know how when your kids are getting sleepy or they start acting out? It's time for me to wrap this podcast up because they are losing their minds or they are blowing into my microphones and doing some things that it tells me that it's time to wrap up this podcast. Isaiah, before you go, say goodbye to the people. Say something nice and say more than one word, my brother.
Bye. See you guys later.
All right. I want to thank you, my brother, for partaking in this podcast and your contribution to the podcast. I really appreciate it. Sojourner, would you say a couple of kind words to the audience?
Goodbye, y'all.
And thank them for taking the time to spend some time with us to listen in on what I call the LGs, the little gardeners.
Thank you for listening to my beautiful voice.
Yes, your voice is beautiful. Isaiah Thurgood Marshall Gardner and Sojourner the Truth, Sonia Gardner. Thank you so much. And you guys can return to your iPads as it is the end of this podcast for you and close to the end of time for you to be on your podcast as you return to school tomorrow. But I thank you guys so much for doing what you do and being wonderful children. Your mother and father love you to the moon and back. All right.
Same.
Be gone.
All right, yay! I'm thirsty.
All right, let's hear it for the kids. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you found this podcast to be informative, to get a better understanding that kids are people too, and they have their own thoughts, and they can contribute to the brain trust in the home setting. So thank you again, and understand that you can get my podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. And before we go, I'm just going to ask you to please remember to hit the follow button or the subscribe button, whatever that particular button is that will allow you to be notified to get the latest content coming to you from station B.O.B., where you listen to learn how to become the best of your being. And as always, remember, love is an action and it's not supposed to hurt. Until the next time we meet, I'll talk to you later. Peace. As we wrap up this show, I hope this topic helped you to grow. And now you know a little bit more than you knew before. If you have any questions about this topic, please email me at changeagentrtg@gmail.com. See my website, relationshipreadiness.org. to learn more about my counseling, consulting, and educational programs related to life, love, and work. Finally, in the words of the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody he is traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. Until we meet again, do the right thing when nobody is looking. Peace, beloved.